at the end of the 3-year contract, it's done. That contract is done, unless we say you move on for another 3 years, correct?
Councilwoman, after the 3 years, it will come back to this body, and if it is voted in affirmative, it will continue. If not, it will be rebid out.
Well, then my next question is, if we say no, does it get bid out then? You said it does get bid out to others.
Correct. Is there any other comments from the audience? Yes, sir.
My name is Thomas Conley. I'm at 10680 Bird Street in Taylor, Michigan. I guess my comment would be this. With the knowledge of all the atrocities that this company's committed in the past, why are they even an option? You haven't heard my story, and I have an atrocity also. This gentleman's well aware of what's going on. This company should not be an option for Taylor people. I think it's wrong.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
all I have to say. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Should be rewarded.
Any other discussion for tonight?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
I just want to go back to the earlier comment about my reason for the veto. Again, what I'm asking and what I would be receptive to is the original approval, which is a 1-year approval with 2 1-year extensions. I still, as we sit here, as we get ready to wrap up this conversation, I still don't see the benefit of the 3-year and 2 3-year extensions. I just, if somebody can point me in the right direction of how that makes sense for the city of Taylor, I'd really love to understand it, because I'm trying to get there, but I just don't see it.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman,
I had those exact same questions when it came to the trash thing. That put us in a structural deficit that is a 3-year with 3 and 3. And so that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you, Councilman.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Mayor.
I don't see how that issue relates to this issue. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to have the floor. Thank you. I'm happy to go back and point out all the reasons that made a lot of sense to the city of Taylor compared to where we were heading, but I don't think that's the motion that we have here. I still stand with the question of how does this benefit the city of Taylor?
Sure. Mr. Chairman, Councilman Missouri.
I get the point, but I would turn that around and say I don't get how it's detrimental to the city of Taylor. And the city of Taylor has made a number of exceptions in the past for contracts that involve spending millions of dollars. If we have a strongly worded contract, a contract that has an exit clause, a contract that can't go past the original 3-year term without approval, we're looking for how it benefits the city. I'm asking how it damages the city if we have a strongly worded contract. One of the things that the motion did was avoid sticking to the RFP because it has an expired date in it, and there's some language in there that I think can be shored up and firmed up in a strongly worded contract. So I get it. I just don't see that it's detrimental. And then when I make these comparisons to these other contracts that have a greater significantly financial impact on the city of Taylor, I don't know that it's hurting the city of Taylor either.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Mayor.
I think that that's the hope, that we don't allow it to hurt the city of Taylor. Again, the administration went through an extensive process. We went through 2 police chiefs to get here, and yes, the RFP definitely expired, but the terms and conditions set forth didn't. We weren't asking for any price adjustments. I don't see I understand what you're saying, Councilman, but it goes back to the question of, do we even need a contract then if that's the case? And while I know the legal answer, I think there's a reason we're here. We want to be transparent, we want it to be done right, but we also want it to be competitive. The 3-year agreement, it absolutely gives a little bit of comfort. If it was coming back every year for renewal, then I think it poses the question that we can look at it and review all the challenges. We can look at corrective actions annually. But right now, we won't talk about this again for 3 more years, and by then, we may or may not have new problems to contend with.
I just want to make a comment on that point. Once we had this previous contract that we're under with the current vendor, we looked at that contract. There was issues with the pricing. This council actually had the administration formed a group where they looked at the pricing and did restructure the pricing. So, I understand what the mayor's saying about not looking at the agreement again in 3 years, but we went into that contract and actually changed the terms to make sure that folks were not getting overcharged, and we did fix that within the agreement. Is there any other comments?
I have one more question too.
Councilwoman Pats.
If Area is the main towing company, according to our motion, J&M would be the heavy duty. Would Area subcontract out others, or are we going to be using J&M as that subcontractor person? Are we going to, because that was what the problem was before, there was a lot of subcontractors, we didn't know what they were doing. Is J&M going to come up and be that excess or overflow?
Councilwoman, just to your point, I think that is yet to be negotiated by the mayor for the contract that comes back to us.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I don't know, again, and I know we're here talking about the veto, I don't want to get too sideways in that discussion, but that's my understanding. But it would all be done through the towing vendor rather than the Taylor Police Department. So again, the City of Taylor Police Department would not make those decisions, the vendor would make those decisions.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Remick.
Just a question. Did we always have the authority to cancel his contract in the last 4, 5, 6 years? What I don't understand is why would we wait so long with all the problems that you've had not to have thrown him out by now? Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Mr. Chair,
Councilman Johnson.
to the administration, to your point that you just made, how's the decision made now? Is it run through the towing contractor now, or is it the police department?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
As it relates to the current contract, we have one approved vendor, and I think what the past practice has been, that they would select partners or vendors to partner with for the purposes of subcontracting. Remember, our objective is clearing the roadway. And so I think as it relates to the police department, they want, qualified, capable vendors, and I'm pretty sure that's how it's happened in the past.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman
I
Woolley.
just got a quick question, and the mayor might know, but as far as I know, I believe Area has been here a long time, and I would imagine that has always been in this contract for, 10, 12 years. So I give this council and the committee credit for being the first to dive into it and say something's wrong here, and including the mayor and the administration at the time, to dive in there and change the prices and say you're going to do this or you're gone. So I'd like to commend those on the committee and that helped making those changes. But prior to the years before that, I had no idea.
Sure. Thank you, Councilman.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Mayor.
I think in terms of the previous contract, and again, I can't speak to it. It wasn't my contract. It didn't originate from this administration. I think there was a lot of ambiguities in the contract that were open for interpretation, which created a lot of the issues. There were things left out, and I don't know. I can't go back 10 years. I think it was a 10-year-old contract. I don't know all the discussions. But the contract was extremely, extremely vague, and I have to think that it was, there was a reason for the ambiguities. But I'm speculating. I just don't know. I just know that it was extremely problematic, and when people would come in, like the gentleman that spoke earlier, it was tough for us to defend. We didn't have answers other than there was an issue.
Thank you, Mayor.